a definition of a diet. If you're watching this on the replay, I want you to pause it just after this and write some definitions down. So what are your own thoughts when you hear the word diet? So just write like a 1 or 2 sentences of what you perceive the word diet to be. Before I go on, I want to make sure that you've turned off all distractions, all technology. It's just you, laptop, headphones in, listening to me, notepad, pen. If you printed off the slides already, good on you. And let's make a ton of notes. So again, I want your full attention, 100%. So this is what the actual definition is. The word diet comes from the Greek word. Yes, I am half Greek. You can thank me for this. You also probably hear some references from Dr. Mike Zoudos, who is also a fellow Greek, saying you don't have to thank him for this and all the good that the Greeks bring to your life. So it comes back to the unit. It comes from the Greek word dieta, and that means to live one's life. And from the Latin root word dieta, meaning a manner of living. Bit of a surprise. So the actual definition of the word diet has pretty much to do with the way you live, the manner you live your life. Now, I can bet that not many of you have put that down unless you've watched a previous webinar that I've actually gone through this, or you've attended one of the seminars face to face. So it's not what we know the diet to be. It's what our clients think a diet is. That's the important thing. Again, we get caught up in this sort of evidence-based, science-based bubble of a world, and we all think that people know that there isn't a clean eat and it's just a load of nonsense. And there's what we've got to take into account, that our clients don't know this. We're a very, very small minority, and majority of you guys will be working with the general population, and that's the whole point of module 1, is to make you the best personal trainer in your local area at working with general population clients. So not bodybuilders, not powerlifters, just normal folk, which make up 99% of the people that we actually train. So this is what your clients think. They think of diets, and again, diets with a name like the Paleo diet or Weight Watchers, Slimming World, or as you can see the picture on the right hand side of this woman just with fruits and like bran flakes and water. And it's more of a clean eating approach, and that's what people perceive diets to be. And I've said this before, and I will continue to say it. The only diet that works best for you is your name. So Luke Johnson's nutrition plan. Even the word diet, I'm probably going to go out there, and even at Shredded by Science, we try not to use the word diet, because people don't think of this. They think of this. So just by people having a preconceived belief of what they believe the word diet to mean, again, if we use that terminology with our clients, they're going to automatically think, oh, Luke's going to put me on a really like chicken, rice and broccoli. They have that preconceived idea of what the word diet means. So we use the word nutrition. So just a little tip there from someone who's been in the industry over 11 years now is just think about the words you use. And how they're already people have already made their mind up of what the actual word means. So I actually asked our Shreddication members, and these are a little bit more advanced than general population, but I asked them what did they used to think the word diet meant. And here's some of the things that actual clients said. Not sustainable, restricting foods, clean eating, good and bad foods, so we're labelling foods, obsessing over foods, starving yourself, low carb, chicken, broccoli and brown rice. So these are some of the key things which kept coming out time and time again. Not sustainable, restricting food. So this is what your client believes a diet is. So when they come to you, they've already come to you knowing that they're probably going to fail, and that the diet's not going to work, and that you're going to get them to only eat clean foods. Where again, it's our job as a coach, as a trainer, to educate our clients. And this is when I'm going to come up onto when I look at my what I think makes long-term sustainability and weight maintenance. So now we're going to look at analysing their diet history, and I like to PPF it. So as you can see, we've got a nice image there, and we've got a nice road. We can only see ahead that's all well and good, but we don't know where they've come from, what mindset they're at. So this is what PPF stands for. What's coming up? First of all, we need to know why, what, and how to analyse previous nutrition. So you see how I don't use the word diet there. So why we need to paint the overall picture. We need to be able to know where they've come from, where they're currently, and what their goals are, where do they want to be. And then we need to decide, as the personal trainer, as the person that's educated, as the person that's invested in the best goddamn academy in the world, Shredded by Science obviously, and use that to our best ability to select the right nutrition approach for them at that precise moment. What we're going to look at over the next few slides of what types of stuff we need to analyse and how. So what I like to do, again, some people use different things in terms of how they analyse the client's consultation, in terms of their food diary, etc. But during the consultation process, whether it's online or offline, we like to get them to record 4 days in total worth of nutrition. And we tend to go for like 2 weekdays, where it's a workout and rest day, to see if there's any difference. And we also like to look at a weekend's worth, because as we know, you could eat really clean on the weekdays, and then on the weekend you end up just going full YOLO, binge eating, hashtag food porn, and just stuffing your face. So we like to get a picture of both people, because what you tend to get is people, majority of the time, would probably tend to eat not as well on the weekend because they're not at work and they don't have that structure in place, and they have more freedom and time to just, I ain't got nothing to do, so I'm just going to go to the fridge and eat a hell of a lot. So I recommend getting your client, whether it's reporting it by hand, just writing it down, or using an app like MyFitnessPal. So again, everything's going to depend on the type of client, whether they're young and sort of tech savvy, or whether they're slightly older and they're like, I don't even know how to use my iPhone. So here's just an overview of some of the things that you can look into, and then I'm going to actually go through what we use at Shredded by Science, and you can copy and use that. Just give us a little credit, try not to plagiarise totally, and tweak it based on the people you tend to work with. So past, looking at the previous diets and training. So the reason why we look at diet and training, because again, they're not mutually exclusive. You can't sort of build a good body frame and put some muscle mass on if you just eat well and don't actually lift. So we like to look at the previous diet and training, and again, we're looking at whether the nutrition and their diet actually supports that training to give them the best chance possible of getting the gains with a Z. We're going to look at their relationship with food. When we're talking to them, are they listing like, are they sort of categorizing good and bad foods? What is their relationship with food? Allergies and intolerance. I've put this in the past, it could be the present obviously, but again, they're not just probably going to get an allergy that day they come to see you. So looking at that information, so we can, if someone really does have an allergy, then obviously making sure that we don't get them to eat certain foods, etc. Another thing we like to look at is their weight history as well. Again, it paints an overall picture. So you could go back 10 years, 5 years, 3 years, 1 year, back to the last month or last couple of months, and look at where they've been for a while. And what you tend to get is guys which come to you and they'll be like, I lost an amount of weight, but I end up putting it all back on, or I've lost an amount of weight and I just can't lose anymore. It's like I'm already eating 1,000 calories and my weight's just not going anywhere. Then we look at the present, so where they are presently, what are they currently on? If we do have clients which are more educated, then looking at their maintenance levels, if they do track macros, and looking at what are you currently eating, so we can again have a sort of ballpark figure of how many calories they're actually consuming to maintain weight. Then obviously you're going to look at personal preference. What are their likes, their dislikes, and take that into account when we're planning for that. We're going to look at their current body composition and fitness levels. Looking at roughly, we don't need to get calipers out if our clients obviously got a large amount of body fat and start pinching their skin folds. Again, that's not a good thing to do. If someone's got a large amount of body fat to lose, they're going to know that because they can see. And they put their clothes on every day and they notice that their trousers are tighter and they've got bob, which is belly over bottoms. Shout out to girlfriend for that one. So again, we're looking at body composition and current fitness levels. Now, for the future, we need to think about setting up a plan. And by the end of this unit, you're going to have a hell of a lot more clearer approach when you're working with your clients. We're going, yeah, that would be the right option, I think, to get them started on. We're going to look at time frame and goals. Obviously, we have clients who come to us over and over again, and they're like, oh, I need to lose a stone in a week. And we're just like, whoa, let's reality check. How did that work out before when you tried to lose that stone in a week? What did you have to do? So again, it's educating our clients throughout the process, not making them feel dumb, but just highlighting, maybe using some science-based stuff and talking through about diets and losing a large amount of weight and how they're not sustainable, etc. As I said, educating and support. What can we do to educate our clients, and what support can we provide as a coach ourselves, and how can we get the community and social support alongside that? We're then going to be looking at their current, and if there's any life stresses coming up. So it could be that they've got a child coming their way in the next 3-4 months. I know when I knew my son was coming, I was like, time to get shredded, because once he's here, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder to do so. So again, it's using that time and having like a nutrition periodization, which I'm going to come on to in a little bit as well. So client consultation questions, again, these are just taken from our own online client questionnaire, so please feel free to use them. Again, it's so we can paint that bigger picture and get that information we want to then be able to pick a nutrition approach which will work best for that client at that precise moment. So how often do you food shop? This one sort of tells us their sort of organizational skills, like do they only shop like once a week or once every 2 weeks? Do they do a big shop? Is there something we can do to make sure that when they go off their nutrition, is it because they've not been to the food shop? So should we do 2 food shops a week rather than 1 food shop a week? We also look at how often do you eat at restaurants. So again, this is when they might say once or twice a week, and then we need to obviously gather more information. What types of food are you eating? How often do you eat fast food? How often do you drink alcohol? So we tend to get that question quite a lot about the alcohol, like per week. And sometimes it'd be like, oh, sometimes I don't drink, other times I do. So that's why we've got the next question there. It's like, how much alcohol do you tend to drink in a 24-hour period? Because you might have someone who just goes out once a week and just totally binge drinks, and they could literally be in a deficit the whole week and then go out on a Saturday night and drink 2,000 calories and eat another 2,000 calories in a nice doner kebab. So another question, please describe your current food intake. So it gets them thinking, gets them just like, okay, so I tend to eat breakfast at this time, I tend to have this for breakfast or this. And again, rather than getting them to, we're trying to get them to self-analyze what they do on a daily basis, whether there's a trend or not, rather than getting them to actually record what they're eating. We want them to sort of a diet recall from memory. We're going to then look at how many times per day do they prefer to eat, and that we need to take into account as well. Like we said, the best nutrition approach is the one which is sustainable and specific to the person. So people will have preferences. I know for me, I only really like to eat 2-3 times a day. Why is that? Because I don't want to be spending time in the kitchen cooking, prepping food. It's just not me. I don't enjoy it, and with all the current projects I've got going on, it's too much. I don't want to eat 6 meals a day. That would be the worst thing ever. So if you're programming someone to eat 6 meals and they think, God damn, I can't prep that many meals a day. Which makes you feel fuller? Large infrequent meals or small, more frequent, sorry. So again, getting them to think about that. And most people, they sort of guess it, and most people don't tend to test out different things and try different meal frequencies and see how they feel. And again, whether they're looking at a chronic calorie surplus or a chronic calorie deficit would obviously be a factor there. So if you're trying to get a ton of calories in, then you're going to have to probably increase the frequency of the meals you eat just to make sure that you get those calories in. So, do you have any food allergies or intolerances? People are going to probably say they've got an intolerance to gluten. Ask if they've actually had it tested and been diagnosed with it. What are your favourite foods? Again, looking at preferences of what they like. What are your least favourite foods? So if someone says, I hate eggs, and then you're a bro coach and then you give them their diet plan, which again is against the scope of practice, and you say you're eating eggs and nuts and only spinach for breakfast. Again, they're not going. How long are they going to stick to that? Then not very, because they don't like eggs. So again, try and find out what they do like, including those into their nutrition, not eliminating anything. And then obviously the foods they dislike, try not to, or they don't need to eat them unless they dislike all healthy-ish, calorie or nutrient-dense foods. Then we obviously need to work on that over time. Have you been on any diets previously, and how did you find them? This is when we get that previous history. Their diets, they're probably going to tell you they've been on this diet, that diet. How did it work? And most of them would be like, yeah, it worked really well, but then I put all the weight back on. Because they're coming to see you for a reason. They're not happy with their current body and where they currently are. We also look at, please list any supplements you're currently taking and with doses. I like to say that even though people pay us money for online coaching, we probably save them more money by not having to buy these crappy supplements.